Good Tuesday morning to you. Yesterday I was talking about the phrase that's somewhat well known, blood is thicker than water. Today I want to do another one, rise and shine. Today is Tuesday, and in the Salem-Keizer School District, if you are under grade 12, you have 4 days left, 4 in-person days left, 2 weeks of school left. Now, in Wisconsin, school always ended that first week in June. So by the time you hit Memorial Day, it was only a couple days left, and usually it was field trips and projects and, last minute things. Here in Oregon, school ends a little bit later, and because of the ice storms, we're even a week later. So navigating comprehensive distance learning and a lot of at home before we were actually ever in person, and now adding another week of school, I can tell you that most students are pretty much done with it. And because most students are done with it, their parents are definitely done with it. If I am totally wrong and you're listening to this and you're a parent, especially of a middle schooler or a high schooler, and your kid is like, yes, bring on more school, please call me and tell me what you're doing that I'm not doing, because in our house, we're just trying to have the best face forward and be done as quickly as possible. So it's on mornings like this, because I'm a Tuesday, Thursday. It's like mornings like this where I have to come into their rooms early and I have to wake them up and get them excited for something they're just not excited for. And so as a parent, I do what parents do. We pass along wisdom that was given to us by our parents. And my dad loved nothing more than to come into my sister and my room early in the morning and sing to us. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. You ever do that? You ever hear that? Now, my dad was a big guy with a bolstering voice, and I have to tell you, no matter how much I loved to hear him sing, whatever time he was waking me up, whether it was early in my eyes or his, quite frankly, I didn't want to hear him sing to me. But it was a catchy little tune that even now, as I go to wake up my kids, I find myself singing. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine. Well, in case you've completely thought I've lost my mind, that comes from the book of Isaiah. It's a familiar phrase that we use often without thinking, but it has biblical roots. It comes from the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter. And if you know anything about the book of Isaiah, you probably already know that Isaiah is broken into 3 sections. And the 3 sections have a lot to do with how the people have turned away from God, how they have asked for forgiveness, and how God has redeemed them. And the third, which really begins around chapter 60, is where God reinstitutes them as his people. When God made the covenant with him, God never broke it. But the people constantly did. That was part of the conversation we had yesterday. Today is a continuation of that, in that God's covenant, his promise with us, is one that he will never break, and often he restores even though we break it. And so in chapter 60, and I'm just going to read verses 1 through the beginning of 5. Arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. For darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness the people. But the Lord will arise upon you, and his glory will appear over you. Nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. Lift up your eyes and look around. They all gather together, they come to you. Your son shall come from far away, and your daughter shall be carried on their nurse's arms. Then you shall see and be radiant. Your heart shall thrill and rejoice. The prophet is speaking to a people who God still loves, even though they turned away from him, even though they left him for other gods, even though they went on their own path. God still loves the people. And he has relented in his punishment, and he has allowed the people an opportunity to come and ask for forgiveness and be absolved of their sin and create this pathway to reconciliation. That pathway begins in chapter 60, and it begins with an incredible prophecy. Stand, For when they look upon you, they will see the light of the Lord shining within you. When we sing that catchy little tune, or if you use arise and shine as a phrase in your normal day, you're not just calling one to get up from their slumber. You're not just calling a person to wake the sleepiness from their eyes. You're telling them to stand up and shine as the Lord is shining through them. Now that's a totally different call to the day, isn't it? It removes the pressure of us. It takes away what we're about to do and reminds us that everything that comes forward from this moment is what God is already doing within us. What God has already started before we've even crawled out of bed. You know, that's the nature of Sabbath, is that we wake to what God is already doing. And certainly in this passage, we are reminded of that. Awake, arise, shine, for your light has come. You are not the light. I'm not the light. God is the light of the world that shines within us, that gives us hope, that redeems us to him, that fills us with an abundance and sends us forth. And as we go, the prophet reminds us just in these few first verses that as we go, others will be drawn to us because of the light of God shining within us. So it's Tuesday morning. If you're feeling a little sleepy, or if you're wishing there was a little bit more weekend, arise and shine. Not because you're ready for it, but because God is ready to work within you, to lead you and guide you and send you forth to be his light in the world. Have a great day.